My wedding cake was still cold when I found out my wife had already married someone else. Not metaphorically, not in some poetic sense, literally. 3 days before our ceremony, Jennifer Lynn Hastings had stood in a courthouse downtown and signed a marriage certificate with my best man, Tyler Grant. While I was confirming the rehearsal dinner reservation, she was saying vows to someone else. While I was writing her a letter to read on our wedding morning, she was wearing a different dress, holding different flowers, kissing a different mouth. I didn't know any of this yet, not at 6:15 on Saturday evening, standing alone in my rented tuxedo while 200 guests pretended not to stare. Not when the DJ kept playing Sinatra to an empty dance floor. Not when the untouched buttercream cake started sweating under the venue lights. 3 tiers of lies covered in sugar roses. What I knew was simpler. My bride had disappeared. She probably just needs air, Jennifer's mother said, touching my shoulder with fingers that felt like ice. You know how emotional she gets. I didn't know that, actually. In 3 years together, I'd seen Jennifer cry exactly twice, once at her grandmother's funeral, once during a movie about dogs. Both times, she'd excused herself to the bathroom and returned with perfect makeup, composed and smiling. Jennifer didn't do emotional. She did controlled. She did planned. She did every single thing with the precision of an architect drafting blueprints, which is why the disappearance didn't make sense. The ceremony had been flawless. Jennifer walked the aisle at exactly 6 o'clock, her dress perfectly pressed, her smile perfectly measured. She'd looked at me with those green eyes I'd fallen into 3 years ago, and I'd thought, this is it. This is forever. We'd said our vows, we'd kissed. The officiant had pronounced us married, and the guests had cheered, and Jennifer's hand in mine felt warm and real and permanent. Then cocktail hour began. Jennifer excused herself to the bridal suite. Just need to freshen up, she'd said, kissing my cheek. 5 minutes. That was at 6:20. It was now 6:50. I'd checked the bridal suite 3 times. Empty. Checked the bathroom. Empty. Walked the entire venue twice, looking in corners and coat closets and the caterer's prep area. Nothing. I'd called her phone 4 times. It rang from her clutch purse, sitting abandoned on the gift table. Maybe she went outside, Tyler suggested, but his voice sounded strange. Hollow. He wouldn't look at me directly, kept glancing past my shoulder at something that wasn't there. In her wedding dress? In October? He shrugged, adjusting his tie for the 5th time in 10 minutes. Tyler never adjusted his tie. Tyler, my college roommate, my business partner, the guy who'd helped me pick out Jennifer's engagement ring, was sweating through his shirt in a room that wasn't warm. Tyler. Yeah? Where is she? How would I know, man? I'm not her keeper. But he said it too fast, too defensive. And when he finally met my eyes, something flickered there. Something that looked like guilt, or fear, or both. The guests had started murmuring. 200 people in their best clothes, holding champagne glasses, watching me stand alone while my wedding fell apart in real time. Some looked sympathetic, some looked uncomfortable, a few looked excited, like this was better than any reception could be. Chaos is always more entertaining than happiness. Jennifer's bridesmaids huddled near the bar, whispering. 3 women I barely knew, Jennifer's sorority sisters from college. She'd introduced me exactly twice. At the engagement party, they'd looked me up and down like I was an interesting species at a zoo. At the rehearsal dinner last night, they'd smiled with mouths that didn't reach their eyes. Now they looked nervous. Rachel, the maid of honor, caught me watching. She said something to the others. They all turned away. I walked toward them. Excuse me? They jumped. Actually jumped, like I'd fired a gun instead of spoken 2 words. Have you seen Jennifer? No, Rachel said, too quickly. We haven't seen her since the ceremony. She told you she was going to the bridal suite. Right, yes. That's the last we saw her. Did she seem upset? Nervous? No. Rachel's hand went to her throat, fingers finding her necklace. She seemed fine, happy, normal. Then where is she? We don't know. But the way she said it, the way all 3 of them wouldn't quite look at me, the way they'd angled their bodies to form a wall between me and whatever truth they were holding, I knew they were lying. Everyone was lying. I walked away before I said something I'd regret. Walked toward the windows overlooking the garden. The rain had started, fat drops hitting glass in an uneven rhythm. Lightning flashed somewhere over the city. Thunder followed, distant and low. Behind me, the DJ announced dinner would be served soon. Half the guests filed into the reception hall. The other half stayed, watching me the way people watch accidents, unable to look away from something terrible. I just started to wonder if I should call the police when someone touched my arm. I turned. She was maybe 40, So dark hair starting to gray at the temples, wearing a simple blue dress. I didn't recognize her, not from Jennifer's side, not from mine. "I'm sorry," she said. "I don't mean to intrude. Do I know you?" "No, I'm Diane Palmer. I came with the Johnsons." She gestured vaguely toward a couple I vaguely recognized, friends of my parents. "I know this is none of my business, but—" She hesitated, measuring her words. "Would you dance with me?" "What?" "Just one dance. I think you need to move. Standing still makes it worse." I stared at her. This stranger, this woman I'd never met, asking me to dance at my own wedding while my bride was missing and 200 people waited for something to happen. "Why would you ask me that?" "Because you look like you're about to shatter," she said quietly. "And because I've been watching you all evening. You're kind, patient. You haven't yelled at anyone, haven't thrown anything, haven't made a scene, but you should. You should be furious." "I don't understand." "I know." She looked at me with something that might have been pity or might have been recognition. "But you will. Come dance with me, just for 3 minutes, then I need to tell you something." Something in her voice made me follow her. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was the way she'd looked at me like she knew something I didn't, like she'd seen this before. We walked to the dance floor. The DJ, bless him, had kept the music soft, something instrumental, no lyrics to make this worse. Diane took my hand. Her palm was cool and steady. "You should look at tomorrow," she said as we swayed. "Not today." "What does that mean?" "It means what happened already happened. You can't change it. But tomorrow exists, and you need to look at it carefully." "I don't know what you're talking about." "You will." She met my eyes. "Check your jacket pocket. The inside left one." "Why?" "Because someone who cares about you put something there. Someone who knew what was happening and tried to help." The song ended. Diane stepped back, squeezed my hand once. "I'm sorry this happened to you," she said, "but you're stronger than you think. Remember that." She walked away before I could ask anything else. Disappeared into the crowd of guests filtering toward dinner, leaving me alone on an empty dance floor with rain beating windows and Sinatra crooning about fools who fall in love. I reached into my jacket. "Inside left pocket," she'd said. My fingers found something small and hard. I pulled it out. A USB drive. Black. Unmarked. I turned it over in my palm, mind racing. I hadn't put this here. The tuxedo had come from the rental place yesterday afternoon, and I'd worn it straight from the fitting to the rehearsal dinner to the ceremony. When could someone have slipped this into my pocket? During cocktail hour, maybe, when I was checking the bridal suite, when I was distracted and desperate and not paying attention to who was standing near me, close enough to touch. I closed my fist around the drive. Behind me, someone cleared their throat. I turned. Jennifer's mother stood there, face pale, hands twisting a handkerchief into knots. "David," she said, and her voice cracked on my name. "I think you should go home." "What?" This isn't going to happen." "The reception. I think you should just go." "Where's Jennifer?" "I don't know." "You're her mother. How do you not know?" "I don't know." Her voice rose, sharp enough to cut through the music, through the murmur of guests, through everything. People turned to look. "I called her. Her phone's here. I don't know where she is, David. I don't know what's happening, but standing here isn't helping anyone." "So I should just leave? Cancel the reception? Tell 200 people to go home because my bride decided not to show up?" "Yes." She met my eyes. "I think that's exactly what you should do." She walked away, shoulders shaking, handkerchief pressed to her mouth. I stood there, USB drive burning in my palm, rain hammering glass, guests staring, the wedding cake melting under lights that were too hot, flowers wilting, champagne going flat. My phone buzzed, a text from my father. "Son, I'm so sorry. Let us know what you need." Another buzz, my mother. "Come stay with us tonight. Don't be alone." Another, my sister. "I'm here when you're ready to talk." I looked up. Half the guests were leaving, gathering coats, collecting purses, filing out with sympathetic faces and whispered speculations. The other half sat at tables in the reception hall, uncertain whether to stay or go, trapped in the awkward space between witnessing a tragedy and wanting dinner. The DJ had stopped playing music. The caterers stood in corners, waiting for instructions. The photographer had packed up his equipment and left 20 minutes ago. My wedding was over, and I still didn't know where my wife was. I walked to the gift table, found Jennifer's purse. Inside, her phone, her lipstick, her compact mirror. I opened it, looked at my reflection. Same face I'd seen this morning when I'd shaved, same brown eyes, same jaw, Same person who'd thought today would be the beginning of forever. Idiot. I snapped the compact shut. Put it back. Noticed something else in the purse. A folded piece of paper tucked under the phone. I pulled it out, unfolded it. Calendar printout. This week, tomorrow's date circled in red pen. 2 entries. Venue walkthrough, 10 a.m. Photographer, 2 p.m. I stared at the paper. Read it again. Felt something cold settle in my chest. We'd done the venue walkthrough 3 months ago. We'd met with the photographer 6 times. Everything was arranged. Everything was finished. So why did Jennifer have appointments tomorrow, and why was there a name next to the photographer entry? Portraits, TG plus JH. TG, Tyler Grant. JH, Jennifer Hastings. Not Jennifer Hastings Porter, which is what her name was now. Not Jennifer Porter. Not the name she'd taken when she'd married me 4 hours ago. Jennifer Hastings. Her maiden name. And Tyler Grant. Together. Tomorrow. I folded the paper, slid it into my pocket next to the USB drive, looked up. Tyler was watching me from across the room. When our eyes met, he flinched, turned away, started walking toward the exit. Tyler. He kept walking. Tyler. He stopped, didn't turn around. I crossed the room. Guests scattered, sensing something about to break. Look at me. He turned, face pale, jaw tight. Where is she? I don't know. You're lying. I'm not. You're sweating through your shirt, Tyler. You can't look me in the eye. You keep adjusting your tie like you're trying to breathe. You know something. I don't. I pulled out the calendar page, showed it to him. What's this? He glanced at it. Something flickered in his eyes. Fear. Definitely fear. I don't know what that is. Your initials. Tomorrow, with Jennifer, at a photographer, for portraits. I stepped closer. Want to tell me what that means? David, I don't. Tell me the truth, or I swear I'll make you. The room had gone silent. Everyone watching. Everyone waiting. Tyler's face crumpled. Not gradually. All at once. Like a dam breaking. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. For what? He didn't answer. Just turned and walked out, leaving me standing there with a piece of paper and a USB drive and a wedding that had imploded around me like a building demolished from the inside. I looked at the remaining guests, at Jennifer's bridesmaids, who wouldn't meet my eyes, at the caterers, waiting, at the cake, still perfect, still untouched. Go home, I said. My voice didn't sound like mine. Too calm, too quiet. All of you, it's over. They left. Slowly at first, then faster. A mass exodus of uncomfortable witnesses grateful to escape. Within 10 minutes, the venue was empty, except for me and the staff. The coordinator approached, tablet in hand. Mr. Porter, I'm so sorry. We'll need to discuss cancellation fees and... Send me the bill, I said. I'll pay it. Of course. I just need you to sign. Tomorrow. I'll come back tomorrow. She nodded, left me alone. I walked to the exit, stopped at the gift table, looked at the presents piled there, 50, 60 boxes wrapped in silver and white. A month ago, Jennifer and I had registered, picked out dishes and sheets and a coffee maker. Imagined the life we'd build together. What a joke. I picked up one box, shook it, heard something ceramic rattle inside. Put it down, picked up another, heavier. Maybe the knife set we'd registered for, tools for a marriage that didn't exist. I left them there, all of them. Let the venue deal with it. Walked out into the rain. My car was in the lot. A black Civic I'd bought 3 years ago when I'd moved to the city for work. Reliable, practical. The kind of car a responsible adult drives. I got in, sat in the driver's seat, didn't start the engine, just sat there while rain pounded the roof and lightning split the sky and thunder rolled across the city like an angry god clearing its throat. The USB drive was still in my pocket. I pulled it out, looked at it. Tomorrow's truth, Diane had said. Look at tomorrow. I started the car, drove home. The apartment felt wrong, not visibly different. Jennifer's things were still there, her shoes by the door, her jacket on the hook, her coffee mug in the sink, but the air tasted stale, like the space between us had already started to rot. I dropped my keys on the counter, loosened my tie. The tuxedo felt like a costume now, a costume for a part I'd auditioned for and failed to get. The USB drive sat in my palm, small and heavy. I'd never been good with technology. Jennifer handled our laptop, our streaming accounts, our cloud storage. I handled spreadsheets and budgets and making sure the rent got paid. Traditional roles that had felt comfortable until approximately 7 hours ago. Now I wondered what else I'd let her handle, what else I hadn't seen. I found my laptop in the bedroom, old, slow, probably needed replacing. I'd been meaning to upgrade for months. Jennifer had offered to pick one out. "You're always so busy," she'd said. "Let me take care of it." Let me take care of it. How much had I let her take care of? How much had I not questioned because I'd trusted her completely? I plugged in the USB drive, waited for it to load. One folder appeared. "David, please read." My finger hovered over the trackpad. Some part of me knew that opening this folder would change things permanently, that whatever was inside would turn speculation into knowledge, doubt into certainty. I opened it. 3 files. The first was labeled Engagement Teach Photos. I clicked it. A photo gallery opened. 36 images, professional quality, outdoor setting, park benches, autumn leaves, Jennifer in a white sundress, Tyler in a blue shirt, holding hands, kissing, laughing into each other's faces with expressions I recognized because I'd seen them on our engagement photos. The same joy, the same intimacy, the same love. The date stamp on the photos, yesterday, Friday, the day before our wedding. I closed the file, opened the second one. Venue, contract duplicate PDF, a contract with Premier Events Hall. The same venue where my wedding had just imploded, but this contract was for tomorrow, Sunday. Same time slot, same package, same everything, except the names. Tyler James Grant and Jennifer Lynn Hastings. The deposit payment was dated 2 weeks ago, paid from an account I didn't recognize. I stared at the screen, read the contract 3 times, looked for any explanation that made sense, found none. Jennifer had booked the same venue twice, once with me, once with Tyler, consecutive days. Why? The third file was an image. Marriage Certificate JPG. I opened it. County Clerk's Office, 3 days ago, Wednesday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Tyler James Grant and Jennifer Lynn Hastings. Witnesses, Rachel Morrison and Kayla Thompson. Jennifer's bridesmaids. Signed, stamped, legal. My brain stopped working. Just stopped, like a computer hitting a fatal error and freezing mid-process. I read the certificate again, looked at the date, Wednesday, 3 days before our wedding, 2 days before the rehearsal dinner where Jennifer had smiled at me across the table and said, "I can't wait to be your wife." She'd already been someone else's wife. She'd stood in a courthouse with Tyler and Rachel and Kayla and signed a legal document that made everything we'd planned a lie. And then she'd come to the rehearsal dinner and kissed me and acted like nothing had happened. And then she'd stood at the altar with me today and said vows that meant nothing because she was already married, which meant our ceremony had been theater, performance art, a show for 200 guests who didn't know they were watching fiction. I stood up, paced the bedroom, sat down, stood up again. This didn't make sense. None of it made sense. If Jennifer wanted to marry Tyler, why go through with my wedding at all? Why not just call it off? Why the elaborate charade? Unless the charade was the point. I grabbed my phone, called Tyler. It rang once, then went to voicemail. He'd declined the call. I called again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. I texted, "Answer your phone." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally. "I can't talk right now. You owe me an explanation." "I know. I'm sorry. Tomorrow." "Tonight." "I can't. I'm with..." The message cut off. He'd deleted it. Started typing again. "Tomorrow. I promise." I threw the phone across the room. It hit the wall, clattered to the floor, screen miraculously intact. With Jennifer. He was with Jennifer. Wherever they'd gone after the ceremony, they were together now. My wife and my best friend. Married. I wanted to scream. Wanted to put my fist through something. Wanted to call everyone who'd been at that wedding and tell them the truth. Show them the photos and the contract and the marriage certificate. Watch their faces change when they realized what had happened. But I didn't. I sat on the bed. Breathed. Forced my mind to work through the anger. Evidence, timeline, logic. Wednesday, marriage certificate filed. Friday, engagement photos taken. Saturday, my wedding, Jennifer disappears. Sunday, their wedding? No, that didn't track. They were already married. Why have a second wedding, unless the Sunday ceremony was the real one, the public one, the one their friends and family would attend? Which meant my wedding was what? A trial run? A warm-up? I opened my laptop again, looked at the venue contract for tomorrow. Guest count, 50. Time, 2 p.m. Reception, cocktail style, light appetizers. Photographer, same photographer from my wedding, which explained why he'd avoided eye contact tonight. He'd known. He'd been scheduled to shoot Jennifer and Tyler's engagement photos yesterday, scheduled to shoot their wedding tomorrow. He'd come to my wedding knowing it was fake. How many others had known? The bridesmaids, obviously. They'd signed the marriage certificate as witnesses. Tyler's groomsmen, maybe, probably. Jennifer's parents. I thought about her mother's face tonight. The way she'd told me to go home. The way she'd cried. Either she hadn't known, or she was a better actress than her daughter. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "This is Diane Palmer. I know you're confused. Meet me tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Riverside Coffee on Grant Street. I can explain some things." I stared at the message. The woman from the wedding, the one who'd known about the USB drive. Who was she? How did she know what was happening? I typed. "How did you get my number?" "From the wedding invitation your mother sent. I'm her neighbor. Please come tomorrow. You need to understand what you're dealing with." Her neighbor. My mother's neighbor. Someone who'd watched this unfold and tried to warn me. "I'll be there," I sent back. I set the phone down, looked at the laptop screen, at the marriage certificate, at Jennifer's signature, looping and confident. Jennifer Lynn Hastings. Not Hastings Porter, not Porter. She'd never planned to take my name because she'd already taken Tyler's. Except the certificate showed her as Hastings, and Tyler as Grant. Neither had changed their names. I clicked back to tomorrow's venue contract, looked at the names again, Tyler James Grant and Jennifer Lynn Hastings, same as the marriage certificate, which meant, what? They weren't planning to change names? Or they hadn't decided yet? I grabbed the calendar page from my jacket, read the entries. Venue walkthrough, 10 a.m., photographer, 2 p.m., portraits, TG plus JH. Not wedding photos, portraits. Of an already married couple. Was tomorrow's ceremony real, or was it the same performance mine had been? My head hurt. Nothing made sense. Every answer spawned 5 more questions. I needed to sleep, needed to stop thinking before my brain melted. But first, I opened a new browser tab, navigated to the county clerk's website, public records, marriage certificates, searched Jennifer Lynn Hastings. The system took 30 seconds to load. One result, filed Wednesday, Tyler James Grant and Jennifer Lynn Hastings. Legal. Official. Real. I searched my own name. David Michael Porter. No results. Because I wasn't married. Hadn't been married tonight, despite the ceremony and the vows and the kiss. Hadn't been married to anyone. I closed the laptop, sat in the dark bedroom, listened to rain-hit windows, and tried to process the fact that my entire adult life had just revealed itself to be built on lies. Jennifer and I had met 3 years ago. Coffee shop, both reaching for the last blueberry muffin, that horrible, cute story we told at every dinner party. She'd been funny and smart and beautiful. She'd made me laugh, made me feel like I was interesting, like I was someone worth knowing. We dated for 6 months before I'd met Tyler. My business partner, I'd said, introducing them at a company event. They'd shaken hands, made small talk. Tyler had told me later that Jennifer seemed great, that I'd lucked out. Had they planned it even then? Had they looked at each other and known, or had it started later? I thought about the last year, tried to remember if there'd been signs, late nights, unexplained absences, suspicious texts, nothing. Jennifer had been perfect, attentive, loving. She'd remembered every anniversary, cooked my favorite meals, told me she loved me every single day. How much of that had been real? How much had been performance? My phone buzzed again, my mother. "Are you all right? Call me when you can." I didn't call. Couldn't talk to anyone right now. Couldn't explain something I didn't understand. Instead, I opened my email, scrolled through recent messages, found the thread with the venue coordinator, 43 emails, planning details, menu choices, seating charts, all from Jennifer's account, forwarded to me for approval. I'd trusted her judgment on everything, hadn't questioned a single decision. I opened the sent folder on my own email, found my responses. "Looks great. Whatever you think is best. You're the expert." Over and over, abdicating every choice to someone I'd trusted completely. Had she laughed while reading these? Had she shown them to Tyler? "Look how easy this is. He doesn't even check." I stood up, paced again. The apartment felt smaller now, suffocating. Every object a reminder of a life that didn't exist. Her coffee mug. We'd bought matching ones last Christmas. His, and hers, in stupid script lettering. Hers was in the sink. Probably from this morning, when she'd kissed me goodbye and told me she'd see me at the altar. I picked up the mug, Threw it. Hard. Watched it explode against the kitchen wall, ceramic shards scattering across tile. Felt nothing. Threw the second mug. My mug. Watched it shatter next to hers. Still nothing. I wanted to break everything, every dish, every frame, every carefully chosen piece of furniture we'd picked out together. Wanted to destroy all of it until nothing remained of what we'd built. But I didn't, because breaking things wouldn't change anything, wouldn't undo the marriage certificate, wouldn't make tonight's wedding real, wouldn't answer the question burning in my chest. Why? If Jennifer loved Tyler, if she'd wanted to marry him, why involve me at all? The money? We'd split all wedding costs 50-50, Jennifer had insisted. Equal partners, she'd said. In everything. I'd paid $15,000 for tonight. Venue, catering, flowers, photographer, DJ, everything. Jennifer had presumably paid $15,000 for tomorrow. Unless. I grabbed my laptop, opened my banking app, checked my account. The wedding payment had gone through 2 months ago. $15,000 paid to Premier Events Hall. I logged into our joint account, the one we'd opened last year. For shared expenses, Jennifer had said, we each contributed $500 a month. Our rent, utilities, groceries. The balance should have been around $8,000. It was $400. I clicked on the transaction history. 3 weeks ago, withdrawal, $7,500. 2 weeks ago, withdrawal, $6,000. Last week, withdrawal, $5,000. All transferred to an account I didn't recognize. All authorized by Jennifer. She'd drained our joint account, taken everything we'd saved together. $18,000. Gone. I sat back, stared at the screen. She'd used our money to pay for her wedding with Tyler, used the money I'd contributed, the money I'd saved from my salary, money I'd thought was going toward our future together. She'd stolen it, legally maybe. The account was joint. She had every right to withdraw. But morally, ethically, she'd stolen from me to fund her marriage to someone else. The rage came back, hot and sharp and overwhelming. I wanted to call her, demand answers, make her explain every single choice. But I didn't have her number. Not really. Her phone was still at the venue, sitting in her purse on the gift table. Or maybe not. Maybe she'd come back for it. Maybe she and Tyler were laughing about everything right now, congratulating themselves on pulling off the perfect con. My phone buzzed, another unknown number. I answered. David, it's Rachel. Jennifer's maid of honor, one of the witnesses on the marriage certificate. What do you want? I need to talk to you about Jennifer. I don't want to hear it. Please, I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But there are things you don't understand. Then explain them. Silence. Then, not over the phone. Can we meet? Why should I trust anything you say? You signed their marriage certificate. I know how it looks, but it's not what you think. Really? Because I think Jennifer married my best friend 3 days before our wedding. I think she used our joint savings to pay for her wedding to him. I think she planned everything deliberately to humiliate me. What part am I misunderstanding? All of it. Her voice dropped. Please, tomorrow afternoon, after you meet with Diane, there's a lot you need to know. How do you know about Diane? Because she called me an hour ago. Because we're trying to help you. Because what Jennifer's doing is worse than you realize. The line went dead. I sat there, phone in hand, mind racing. Worse than I realized. How could it possibly be worse? I'd been lied to, cheated on, married in a ceremony that meant nothing, had my savings stolen, had my best friend betray me. What was left? I looked around the apartment, at Jennifer's things, her books on the shelf, her photos on the wall, her life intertwined with mine in 1,000 small ways. Tomorrow I'd meet Diane, get answers. Tomorrow I'd find out exactly how bad this was. Tonight, I just needed to survive. I grabbed a blanket, lay down on the couch. Couldn't bring myself to sleep in our bed. Closed my eyes, didn't sleep. Just lay there while rain drummed the windows and my mind spun in circles, and somewhere in this city, Jennifer and Tyler celebrated their marriage while I dissolved into someone I didn't recognize. The last thing I remember thinking before exhaustion finally won was this. Tomorrow, I start fighting back. Riverside Coffee at 9 a.m. was nearly empty. 3 people at laptops, 1 elderly couple sharing a newspaper, and Diane Palmer sitting in the back corner with 2 cups of coffee already on the table. She stood when she saw me, extended her hand. Thank you for coming. I shook her hand, sat down. She'd ordered black coffee for herself, a latte for me. She'd guessed right. I'd been drinking lattes for 10 years. How did you know what I drink? Your mother mentioned it. We talk sometimes. She's worried about you. Did she know about Jennifer? No, none of your family knew. Your mother thought Jennifer was wonderful. Past tense. Was wonderful. Already adjusting the narrative to account for truth. I took a sip of the latte. It was good. Too good for this conversation. You said you could explain things. Diane wrapped both hands around her coffee cup, looked at me with eyes that had seen this before. My ex-husband did the same thing, she said quietly. Not exactly the same, but close enough. What did he do? Married me. Stayed married for 3 years. Then I found out he'd married someone else 2 years in. Never divorced me, just added a wife. I stared at her. That's illegal. Yes. Bigamy. He went to prison for 6 months. She took a sip of coffee. But the damage was done. By the time I found out, he'd taken everything. Drained our accounts. Put our house in his girlfriend's name. I was left with nothing except legal fees and the knowledge that I'd been living with a stranger. I'm sorry. Don't be. I survived. I rebuilt. That's why I'm here, to help you survive this. Why do you care? You don't know me. Because your mother is kind to me. Because I saw what Jennifer was doing and I couldn't stay silent. And because... She paused. Because the woman Jennifer is doesn't just destroy you and walk away. She makes sure you can't recover. That's what I saw last night. That's why I gave you the USB drive. How did you get it? The photographer. He came to me at the reception. Said he couldn't live with himself if he didn't help. He'd figured out what was happening and he couldn't be part of it anymore. But he still took the job for tomorrow. He canceled this morning, sent Jennifer a refund. He said he's done with the whole situation. Good. At least one person had a conscience. Diane, I need you to tell me what I'm dealing with, because I don't understand any of this. She set down her coffee, leaned forward. Jennifer isn't trying to leave you for Tyler. She's trying to destroy you. What? Think about it. If she just wanted Tyler, she could have broken up with you any time in the last 3 years. Could have called off the wedding, could have done this quietly. Then why didn't she? Because quiet doesn't serve her purpose. She needs witnesses, she needs documentation, she needs you to look unstable. The word landed like a punch. Unstable? That's the narrative she's building. Think about what happened last night. You stood alone at your wedding while your bride disappeared. Everyone saw you confused, desperate, falling apart. Today, those same people are going to hear that you caused a scene, that you accused innocent people, that you couldn't handle the situation rationally. But I didn't cause a scene. I asked where she was. That's not unreasonable. Doesn't matter. Truth and narrative aren't the same thing. Jennifer controls the narrative. By now, she's probably told half those guests that you were controlling, paranoid, that she had to escape. I thought about Tyler's face last night. The way he wouldn't look at me. The bridesmaids forming a wall. Why would she do that? I don't know yet. But I know the pattern. My ex did the same thing. Made me look irrational. Made everyone think I was the problem. By the time I discovered the second marriage, all our mutual friends already believed I was unstable. When I tried to tell them the truth, they thought I was having a breakdown. My phone buzzed, a text from my mother. Jennifer's mother called. Said you threatened Tyler last night. Is that true? I showed Diane the message. She nodded. It's starting. They're rewriting what happened. I typed back, I didn't threaten anyone. I asked for an explanation. 3 dots appeared. Then, she said you were aggressive. David, what's going on? Mom, I'll explain everything later, but I didn't threaten anyone, I promise. Okay, I trust you, but be careful. I set the phone down. This is insane. I can't just let her lie about me. You can't stop her from lying, Diane said. But you can control your response. Don't give her ammunition. Don't yell. Don't threaten. Don't do anything that could be twisted into proof that you're unstable. So, what do? Document everything. Every conversation, every interaction, every lie. Build your own timeline. Make it iron tight. And then what? Then you make sure everyone knows the truth, not by shouting it, by proving it. My phone buzzed again. Tyler. Can we talk? I owe you an explanation. I showed Diane. Don't meet him alone, she said immediately. He'll record it, edit it, use it against you. He's my best friend. He married your fiancée 3 days before your wedding. He's not your friend. She was right. Obviously, she was right. But part of me still wanted to believe Tyler had been manipulated, that Jennifer had orchestrated everything and Tyler was just a victim like me. Pathetic. I was pathetic for even considering it. I typed back, public place, noon, downtown Commons. Yes or no? His response came immediately. Yes. Diane nodded approval. Record the conversation. On your phone. Don't tell him. That's legal? In this state, yes. One-party consent. As long as you're part of the conversation, you can record it. You know a lot about this. I had to learn the hard way. She finished her coffee. I need to tell you something else. Something Rachel mentioned when I called her last night. You called Rachel? I wanted to understand what was happening. She wouldn't tell me much, but she said Jennifer has been seeing a therapist. Okay, a lot of people see therapists. Jennifer started seeing her 3 months ago, right after your engagement. So? Rachel said Jennifer's been telling the therapist that you're controlling, that you monitor her phone, that you don't let her have friends, that you've isolated her from her family. The coffee in my stomach turned to acid. That's not true. None of that's true. I know, but Jennifer has been building a record. 3 months of sessions, documentation of your alleged behavior, professional testimony from a licensed therapist who believes her. Why would a therapist believe her without talking to me? Because therapists work with what their clients tell them. If Jennifer walks in every week saying you're controlling, the therapist writes it down, builds a case file. And if Jennifer ever needs to file a restraining order, she has professional support. I sat back, felt the room spin. A restraining order. It's the next logical step. You confront her about the marriage. She claims you're being threatening, files for protection. Suddenly you can't go near her, can't contact her, and everyone thinks you're dangerous. This can't be happening. David. Diane reached across the table, gripped my hand. Listen to me. This is happening. You need to accept that, and you need to be smarter than Jennifer expects you to be. How? First, don't confront her. Not yet. Let her think you're broken. Let her think she won. I can't just do nothing. You're not doing nothing. You're gathering evidence. You're building a case. You're making sure that when you do act, it's devastating. My phone buzzed. Another text. Jennifer. David, we need to talk. Can you come home? Home, our apartment, where she'd spent 3 years lying to me. I showed Diane. Don't go, she said. Not alone, not without protection. Protection from what? She's not going to hurt me physically. No, but she'll hurt you legally. She'll claim you were threatening. She'll call the police. She'll create a scene that supports her narrative. So what do I do? Tell her you need time. Tell her you'll talk when you're ready. Don't give her any opening to claim you're unstable. I stared at Jennifer's message, at the casual tone. Can you come home? Like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't just destroyed everything. I typed, I need time to process. I'll contact you when I'm ready. Her response was immediate. Please, I can explain everything. Not today. David, you don't understand what's happening. Then tell me. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally. Not over text, face to face. Public place, tomorrow, I'll let you know where. Tomorrow? David, this can't wait. It has to. I put my phone face down on the table, looked at Diane. I'm meeting Tyler at noon. What do I say to him? Ask questions, don't accuse, record everything. If he admits to anything, you want it documented. And then? Then you meet with Rachel. Hear what she has to say. Piece together the full picture before you make any moves. This feels like playing games. It is playing games. Jennifer started playing 3 months ago. You're just catching up. I looked at my watch. 10:30. An hour and a half until Tyler. I should go. Prepare. One more thing. Diane pulled out her phone. Showed me a photo. A man, maybe 50, expensive suit, standing next to a Mercedes. This is my divorce attorney. Best in the city. He specializes in cases like this. I already called him. He's expecting to hear from you. I can't afford an expensive attorney. He works on contingency for cases like yours. Jennifer stole from your joint account. That's recoverable. The money she spent on her wedding is traceable. You can get it back. I don't care about the money. Yes, you do. You just don't know it yet. She slid a business card across the table. Call him tomorrow, after you talk to Jennifer, after you have the full picture. I took the card. Arthur Morrison, Morrison and Associates. A downtown address that probably charged $500 an hour. Thank you, I said, for all of this, for caring. I'm not doing this just for you, Diane said quietly. I'm doing it because Jennifer needs to be stopped. Women like her destroy people. If she gets away with this, she'll do it to someone else. She stood, gathered her things. Be smart, David. Be patient. And whatever you do, don't let her make you the villain of this story. She left. I sat alone in the coffee shop, business card in hand, mind racing through strategies and countermoves, and the sudden, terrifying realization that my life had become a chess game where I didn't know the rules. At 11:50, I walked to downtown Commons, a public park in the middle of the city, busy on Sunday mornings with joggers and families and people who had normal lives without secret marriages and stolen savings. I found a bench near the fountain, sat down, started a voice recording app on my phone, placed it in my jacket pocket, microphone facing up. Tyler arrived at 12 exactly. He looked awful, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, wearing the same clothes from last night. "Hey," he said. "Sit." He sat, kept 3 feet between us on the bench. For a minute, neither of us spoke. Finally, Tyler broke the silence. "I'm sorry." "For which part?" "All of it. Every single part." "When did it start?" "A year ago, at the company retreat. We ended up talking one night. Just talking, but then you started sleeping with her." He flinched. "Yeah." "While she was engaged to me?" "Yes." "While you were my best friend." I know how bad it sounds. But David, I love her." I laughed. Couldn't help it. The absurdity of that statement, sitting here in a park while my life crumbled and Tyler thought love justified everything. "You married her 3 days before our wedding. She insisted, said she couldn't go through with marrying you while she loved me, said we needed to be legally married first, that it was the only honest thing to do." "Honest? Tyler, nothing about this is honest." "I know. I told her we should just call off your wedding, but she said it was too late, that everything was paid for, that canceling would destroy her relationship with her parents. So instead, she went through with a fake ceremony, made me look like an idiot in front of 200 people. That's not... She didn't mean for it to go like that." "Then how did she mean for it to go?" He didn't answer. "Tyler, what was the plan? She marries you Wednesday, goes through with my wedding Saturday. Then what?" "She was going to tell you after the reception. She was going to explain everything, give you time to process before the annulment." "Annulment?" "Yeah, since the marriage wasn't legal, you could annul it. No divorce needed." I stared at him. At this person I'd known for 15 years, my college roommate, my business partner, the guy who'd been best man at my fake wedding. "Do you hear yourself? Do you hear how insane this sounds?" "I know. I tried to talk her out of it. But she said this was the kindest way, that it would give you closure." "Closure." "David, I'm sorry. I know sorry doesn't fix anything, but I never wanted to hurt you." "But you did it anyway." "Yes. Because you love her." "Yes." I wanted to hit him, wanted to wipe that pathetic expression off his face, wanted to make him feel even a fraction of what I was feeling. But I didn't, because Diane was right. Losing control gave Jennifer ammunition. "What's happening tomorrow?" I asked. "What?" "Your wedding. Tomorrow at 2. Same venue. Is it still happening?" Tyler's face went pale. "How do you know about that?" "I know everything, Tyler. The engagement photos, the venue contract, the marriage certificate. I know all of it." "We canceled," he said quietly. "This morning. After last night, Jennifer said it didn't feel right." "What felt wrong? Getting caught?" "No, hurting you. She didn't expect you to react the way you did." "How did she expect me to react?" "I don't know. Calmer, I guess. More understanding." "She expected me to be understanding about my fiancé abandoning me at our wedding." "She thought you'd figure it out, that you'd see the calendar entry, realize what was happening, and just let her go. Let her go, like I'm some disposable character in her story. That's not how she sees you." "How does she see me, Tyler? Actually, don't answer that. I don't care." I stood. Tyler stood with me. "David, wait. There's more you need to know." "I don't want to hear it." "Jennifer's scared. She thinks you're going to cause trouble. She's talking about getting a restraining order." There it was. Diane had called it perfectly. "On what grounds?" "She said you were aggressive last night, that you threatened me in front of everyone." "I asked you a question. That's not a threat." "I know, but she's worried you'll escalate. She's been talking to her therapist about it." "Of course she had." "Tyler, I want you to listen carefully. I didn't threaten you last night. I didn't threaten anyone. I asked questions. That's all." "I know. I'll tell her that." "Will you? Because it seems like you'll tell her whatever she wants to hear." He flinched again. "Good. I'm trying to help you, David." "No, you're not. You're trying to feel less guilty. There's a difference." I walked away, left him standing by the fountain, looking miserable. My phone buzzed 3 times during the walk home. "Tyler, I really am sorry." "Tyler, for what it's worth, I think she made a mistake." Tyler. If you need anything, I'm here. I deleted the messages, blocked his number. At 2 p.m., I met Rachel at a different coffee shop across town. She was already there, sitting in the back, looking nervous. "Thank you for coming," she said. I sat, didn't order anything. "Make this fast." "Jennifer's planning to file a restraining order tomorrow morning. She's going to claim you've been harassing her, threatening her, that she fears for her safety." "Based on what?" "Based on the narrative she's been building with her therapist, the story about you being controlling and paranoid. She's going to use last night as proof that you've escalated." "This is insane." "I know. That's why I'm telling you, because what she's doing isn't right." "Then why did you sign the marriage certificate? Why did you help her?" Rachel looked down at her hands. "Because she's my friend. Because she told me you were abusive, that she needed to escape but was afraid of how you'd react. She made it sound like she was the victim." "And you believed her?" "At first. But then I saw how she talked about you when you weren't around, how she laughed about the wedding planning, how she enjoyed manipulating everything, and I realized she wasn't escaping anything. She was just cruel." "So why are you still helping her?" "I'm not. I'm here, aren't I? Telling you what she's planning?" "What do I do about the restraining order?" "You need to file for an annulment first, tomorrow morning, before she can file anything. Get ahead of her narrative." "An annulment based on what? The marriage wasn't legal." "Exactly. That's your grounds. She was already married when she went through the ceremony with you. That makes your marriage void from the start. File for annulment based on fraud. Include the marriage certificate as evidence." "And the restraining order?" "If you file first, if you can prove she was the one being deceptive, her restraining order won't hold. She'll look like the aggressor, not you." I thought about it. The timing, the strategy. Diane told me not to act yet. Diane's right about most things, but not this. Jennifer's filing tomorrow at 9 a.m. I know because I saw the forms on her laptop. If you don't file first, you lose control of the narrative permanently. My phone buzzed. Jennifer. "Please talk to me. I can explain everything. I love you." I showed Rachel. She grimaced. "Don't respond. She's documenting everything, building a record of you refusing to communicate. She'll use it to claim you're unstable. Everything I do is wrong, according to her." "Yes, that's the point. She's created a situation where any response you make can be twisted. The only way to win is to stop playing her game and start playing your own." "Which is?" "File for annulment. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. Be the first one in court. Tell the truth before she can tell her lies." Rachel stood, pulled an envelope from her purse. "This is a copy of the therapy notes. Jennifer's therapist sent them to her last week. Jennifer left them on her printer. I took a photo." I opened the envelope. 3 pages of notes. Every session. Every lie Jennifer had told about me. Patient reports escalating controlling behavior. Patient expresses fear for safety. Patient considering options for protection. 3 months of building a false narrative. 3 months of preparation. I looked at Rachel. "Why are you helping me?" "Because I watched my sister go through something similar. Her ex did the same thing, made her look crazy while he destroyed her life. She tried to tell people the truth, but by then, everyone believed his lies. She lost custody of her kids, lost her job, lost everything. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just don't let Jennifer do to you what he did to my sister. Fight back, smart, legally, but fight." She left. I sat alone with the therapy notes, reading lies documented as truth, seeing how methodically Jennifer had built a case against me. This wasn't passion. This wasn't love gone wrong. This was calculated destruction. At 6 p.m., I went to the apartment. Jennifer wasn't there. I packed a bag, clothes, laptop, documents, everything I needed. Left my key on the counter, walked out. Stayed at a hotel that night. Didn't sleep. Just lay awake planning my next move. Tomorrow I'd file for annulment. Tomorrow I'd start taking control back. Tomorrow the counterattack began. The courthouse opened at 8 a.m. I was there at 7:30, first in line, paperwork prepared. Petition for annulment. Grounds, fraud. Evidence, marriage certificate showing Jennifer married to Tyler Grant 3 days prior to ceremony. Simple, clean, factual. The clerk processed the filing without comment, stamped the documents, gave me a case number. Respondent will be served within 3 business days, she said. What if she files a restraining order today? The clerk looked up, studied my face. Did you file first? Yes, just now. Then your petition establishes timeline. If she files later today, Court will note you initiated dissolution proceedings before any alleged harassment. Strengthens your position. Thank you. I left the courthouse at 8:45. Checked my phone. 7 missed calls from Jennifer. 3 voicemails. I listened to the first one. David, please. We need to talk. I know you're upset, but I can explain everything. Please call me back. Calm. Reasonable. Nothing that sounded manipulative to a casual listener. The second voicemail. David, I'm getting worried. You haven't been home. I don't know where you are. Please let me know you're safe. Playing the concerned fiancé. Building a record of her attempts to reach me. The third voicemail. David, if you don't call me back by noon, I'm going to have to assume something's wrong. Please, I love you. Just talk to me. The unspoken threat clear. Call me or I call the police. I didn't call. Instead, I went to Morrison and Associates. The attorney Diane had recommended. Arthur Morrison was 60, gray-haired, wearing a suit that cost more than my car. His office overlooked the city, glass and steel and leather furniture. Mr. Porter, he said, shaking my hand. Diane told me about your situation. I've reviewed the documentation she sent. You have a strong case. We sat. Strong enough to recover my money? The joint account withdrawals? Yes. Jennifer had legal access to the account, but the timing and purpose of the withdrawals demonstrate intent to deceive. Courts don't look kindly on that. What about the therapy notes? Can she actually use those against me? She can try, but they're hearsay unless the therapist testifies, and therapists generally won't testify without very compelling evidence. Jennifer's word alone isn't enough. What if she files a restraining order? You filed for annulment first. That matters. It shows you're acting reasonably, using legal channels, not harassing or threatening. If she files for protection today, we'll challenge it. I've seen these cases before. Women who weaponize the protective order system to control the narrative. Women? This happens often? More than you'd think. Courts are biased toward protecting potential victims. Rightly so. But that bias can be exploited. Jennifer seems to understand that. So what do I do? Nothing. Stay away from her. Don't respond to her messages. Don't engage. Let the legal process work. That's it? Just wait? Waiting isn't passive, Mr. Porter. It's strategic. Every day you don't contact her, every day you don't react, you prove her narrative false. She's claiming you're controlling and obsessive. Prove her wrong by giving her space. And if she escalates, then we document it, and we use it. I left Morrison's office at 11. Checked my phone. 12 more missed calls. 2 more voicemails. Jennifer's tone had changed. David, I don't know what game you're playing, but it needs to stop. We need to talk. Adult to adult. Stop avoiding me. The mask slipping, the reasonable fiancé giving way to something sharper. The next voicemail. Fine. If you won't talk to me, I'll do what I have to do. Don't say I didn't warn you. There it was. The threat. I forwarded both voicemails to Morrison. He texted back immediately. Perfect. Save everything. This helps our case. At 1 p.m., I got a call from my mother. David, Jennifer's mother just called me. She's very upset. Said you've been harassing Jennifer. That you threatened Tyler. What's going on? Mom, I haven't threatened anyone. I filed for annulment this morning. Jennifer married someone else 3 days before our wedding. Silence. Then? What? She married my best friend. Legally. I have the marriage certificate. Our wedding was fake. Oh my God. Jennifer's trying to make me look unstable. She's building a false narrative. But I'm handling it legally. I have an attorney. I'm not harassing anyone. David, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. Just don't believe her lies. I won't. I trust you. But David, her mother, seemed genuinely upset. She said Jennifer's afraid of you. She's manipulating everyone, Mom, including her own mother. Don't let her manipulate you. Okay. What do you need? Nothing right now. Just believe me when I say I'm handling this the right way. I believe you. Call me if anything changes. At 3 p.m., I got served. A process server found me at the hotel, handed me an envelope. Restraining order, temporary. Hearing scheduled for next week. Petitioner, Jennifer Lynn Hastings. Respondent, David Michael Porter. Grounds, harassment, threatening behavior, refusal to communicate. Evidence, 17 missed calls from Jennifer to me, 8 voicemails, dozens of unanswered texts, all documented as my harassment of her. I called Morrison immediately. They flipped it, I said. She's claiming I'm the one harassing her. Stay calm. Read the petition carefully. What's she claiming specifically? I scanned the document, felt my stomach drop. She says I called her repeatedly yesterday and today, that I showed up at her apartment uninvited, that I threatened violence against Tyler in front of witnesses, that she fears for her safety. None of that's true? The calls are real, but they're from her to me. I have phone records, the apartment visit, I went to pack my things, I didn't threaten Tyler, I have a recording of our conversation. Good. Send me everything. Phone records, the recording, any evidence that contradicts her claims. Morrison, what if the court believes her? They might, temporarily, but we'll challenge it at the hearing. With your evidence, we'll show she's lying, but David, you need to follow the restraining order until then. What does it say I can't do? No contact, no calls, texts, emails. Stay 500 feet away from her residence and workplace. Violation means jail time. For how long? Until the hearing. 1 week. 1 week of Jennifer controlling the narrative while I stayed silent. 1 week of her telling everyone I was dangerous while I couldn't defend myself. 1 week of isolation. I sat in the hotel room that night, scrolling through social media. Jennifer had posted a photo of herself, looking vulnerable and sad. Caption, going through something difficult right now, asking for privacy and prayers. Within an hour, 200 comments. We love you, Jennifer. Stay strong. Whatever it is, you'll get through this. And then, the ones that made my blood run cold. I heard her fiancé went crazy at the wedding. Apparently he's been stalking her. Poor Jennifer. She deserves better. The story spreading, mutating, becoming truth through repetition. I wanted to comment, to correct the lies, to tell my side. But I couldn't. The restraining order forbid all contact, even indirect contact through social media, so I watched, helpless, as Jennifer built sympathy and support while I became the villain of a story I didn't recognize. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. David, this is Kayla, Jennifer's bridesmaid. I need you to know something. I answered. What? Jennifer's planning something. I don't know exactly what, but she's been talking to a lawyer about asset protection, about making sure you can't touch her money or Tyler's money when this all plays out. Asset protection from what? I don't want her money. That's not how she sees it. She thinks you're going to sue her. She's preparing for legal warfare. Did Rachel tell you to call me? Rachel doesn't know I'm calling. She thinks we should stay out of it. But I can't. What Jennifer's doing is wrong. She's my friend, but this crosses a line. Why are you telling me this? Because I saw what she did to her last boyfriend. Same pattern. Built him up, destroyed him, made everyone think he was the problem. He tried to tell people the truth. No one believed him. Last I heard, he moved to another state to escape the rumors. She did this before? Not exactly the same, but close enough. David, Jennifer doesn't just break up with people, she annihilates them, and she's meticulous about it. What do I do? Prove your case before she can spin it. The hearing is next week. Make sure you have everything documented, every lie she's told, every contradiction, every piece of evidence that shows she planned this. I'm trying. Try harder, because if you lose next week, she wins everything. The narrative, the sympathy, the legal protection. You become the cautionary tale she tells her next victim. The line went dead. I sat in the dark hotel room thinking about Jennifer's last boyfriend, some guy I'd never met, someone who'd been erased from her story. Was that my future? Would I become a footnote? A mistake she'd escaped? Not if I could help it. I spent the next 3 days preparing. Compiled phone records showing every call was from her to me, prepared transcripts of the recording with Tyler, showing no threats, gathered evidence from the annulment filing, showing I'd used legal channels, downloaded Jennifer's social media posts, documenting her manipulation of public sympathy, collected bank statements showing the joint account withdrawals, proving financial deception. Morrison reviewed everything, made suggestions, prepared our counter petition. This is good, he said. Very good. We'll bury her false narrative at the hearing. What if she has more evidence? What if she's prepared something I haven't seen? She might be. But David, evidence has to be credible. If she's lying about the harassment, the court will see that. If she's lying about fearing you, your calm, documented response proves her wrong. I hope you're right. I'm right. Trust the process. The day before the hearing, my mother called. David, Jennifer's mother called again. She's asking me to convince you to drop the annulment. She says it's tearing Jennifer apart. What did you tell her? I told her the truth, that Jennifer married someone else, that she lied to everyone, that you're the victim here, not her. How did she react? She hung up on me, but David, she sounded genuinely confused. I don't think she knew about Tyler. Jennifer's been lying to her own mother? Apparently. Either that, or her mother's a better actor than I thought. I thought about Jennifer's mother at the wedding. The way she'd cried, the way she'd told me to go home. If she hadn't known about Tyler, if Jennifer had hidden everything from her own family, then this was deeper than I'd realized. Jennifer hadn't just deceived me, she'd deceived everyone. The night before the hearing, I couldn't sleep. Lay in the hotel bed, going over my evidence, rehearsing my statement, preparing for every possible attack. At 2 a.m., my phone buzzed. An email from an unknown address. Subject: "You should see this." One attachment. A video file. I almost deleted it. Could be malware. Could be Jennifer trying to trap me somehow. But curiosity won. I opened the video. Security footage. The venue from our wedding. Timestamp. Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Right after Jennifer disappeared. The video showed the back entrance to the venue. A black SUV pulled up. Tyler got out. Opened the back door. Jennifer emerged. Changed out of her wedding dress into jeans and a sweater, carrying a small bag. They talked for maybe 30 seconds. Then Jennifer looked directly at the camera and smiled. Not a sad smile, not a regretful smile, a triumphant smile. She knew the camera was there, knew this moment was being recorded. She wanted it documented. Then she got in the SUV. Tyler drove away. The video ended. I sat there staring at my phone screen. Jennifer had planned her exit, down to the outfit change, down to the smile. She'd wanted me to see her leave, wanted me to know she'd won. I forwarded the video to Morrison with a single line. "Is this useful?" His response came 5 minutes later. "Extremely. This shows premeditation. Bring the original file to the hearing. We'll introduce it as evidence." I lay back down, closed my eyes. Tomorrow I'd walk into that courtroom and fight for my life. Tomorrow I'd prove Jennifer's lies. Tomorrow the revenge would begin. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. Beige walls, fluorescent lights, 20 rows of benches half filled with people waiting for their own cases to be heard. Jennifer sat at the petitioner's table with her attorney. A woman, mid-50s, expensive suit, the kind of lawyer who specialized in making men look like monsters. She didn't look at me when I walked in, kept her eyes forward, posture perfect, hands folded on the table, but I saw her jaw tighten when Morrison placed our evidence folder on the defense table. Saw her lean toward her attorney, whisper something. The attorney glanced back at me, then at Morrison. Her expression shifted, just slightly, the confidence dimming. Good. The judge entered. Everyone stood. A woman, maybe 55, gray hair pulled back, reading glasses on a chain around her neck. Judge Patricia Reeves, according to the placard on her bench. She looked tired, like she'd seen 10,000 cases just like this one and expected nothing new. "Case number 4732, she said, not looking up from her file. Hastings versus Porter. Petition for temporary restraining order. Ms. Hastings, you may begin." Jennifer's attorney stood. "Your Honor, my client is in fear for her safety. Mr. Porter has engaged in a pattern of harassing behavior that has escalated in recent weeks. We have documentation of 17 phone calls placed to Ms. Hastings over a 24-hour period, 8 voicemails of increasingly aggressive tone, and witness testimony that he threatened violence against a third party." She slid a folder across to the judge. Judge Reeves flipped through it. Read for maybe 30 seconds. Looked up. "Ms. Hastings, can you describe the threatening behavior?" Jennifer stood, smoothed her dress. When she spoke, her voice shook, just enough to sound vulnerable. "Your Honor, I've known David for 3 years. We were engaged to be married. But in recent months, his behavior changed. He became controlling, didn't want me to see my friends, questioned where I was going, who I was seeing. I tried to address it in therapy, but it only got worse. And the incident that prompted this petition? Last Saturday was supposed to be our wedding, but I couldn't go through with it. I was afraid. When I tried to leave the venue, he confronted me, accused me of cheating, threatened my friend Tyler. I've been terrified ever since." The judge looked at me. "Mr. Porter, do you have representation?" Morrison stood. "Arthur Morrison, Your Honor, representing the respondent." "Mr. Morrison, your client has an opportunity to respond." "Thank you, Your Honor. If I may approach?" The judge nodded. Morrison walked to the bench, handed her our evidence folder. "Your Honor, what Ms. Hastings describes is fiction. We have phone records showing that all 17 calls in question were placed by Ms. Hastings to Mr. Porter, not the reverse. We have a recording of the alleged threatening conversation, which shows no threats were made. and we have evidence that Ms. Hastings entered into a legal marriage with a third party 3 days before her ceremony with Mr. Porter, making her petition for protection part of a calculated effort to cover her own deception. The courtroom went silent. Judge Reeves looked at Morrison, then at Jennifer, then back at Morrison. You're claiming the petitioner was already married when she attempted to marry your client? Not attempted, Your Honor. She did marry him, in a ceremony attended by 200 guests, a ceremony that was legally void because she was already married to someone else. We filed for annulment yesterday morning on grounds of fraud. That filing precedes this restraining order petition by several hours. The judge opened our folder, started reading. I watched Jennifer, saw her lean toward her attorney. Whisper urgently, her attorney stood. Your Honor, this is a distraction. Whatever private arrangements Ms. Hastings made regarding her relationships have no bearing on whether she fears for her safety now. Actually, Counselor, they have significant bearing. If Ms. Hastings has been deceptive about material facts, the court needs to question the credibility of her current claims. The judge held up the phone records. Ms. Hastings, these records show you called Mr. Porter 17 times yesterday. He called you 0 times. How do you explain that? Jennifer's mask slipped. Just for a second. The vulnerable fiancé replaced by something colder. He blocked my number. He knows I've been trying to reach him. He's playing games. Did you block his number? No. Then why didn't you stop calling after the first few attempts went unanswered? Because I needed to talk to him, to explain. Explain what? Silence. Judge Reeves looked at the marriage certificate Morrison had included. Ms. Hastings, is this your signature? Yes, but... and this date. 3 days before your ceremony with Mr. Porter. Your Honor, that was a mistake, a legal technicality. Tyler and I, we were just married. You were married, legally, which makes your ceremony with Mr. Porter fraudulent. It wasn't fraud. I was going to explain everything. When? After the reception? After the honeymoon? After Mr. Porter discovered the truth on his own? Jennifer's attorney stood again. Your Honor, my client's personal decisions about her relationships don't negate the fact that she feels unsafe. Mr. Porter filed for annulment in retaliation for her attempting to protect herself. Or, Judge Reeves said, Mr. Porter filed for annulment because he discovered his fiancée had married someone else, and Ms. Hastings filed for protection to prevent him from pursuing legal remedies for her fraud. She closed the folder, looked at both attorneys. Here's what I see. Ms. Hastings enters into a legal marriage with a third party while engaged to Mr. Porter. She proceeds with a ceremonial wedding to Mr. Porter despite knowing it's legally invalid. When Mr. Porter discovers the truth and files for annulment, Ms. Hastings files for a restraining order claiming harassment. But the evidence shows she was the one initiating contact. The phone records, the timing, the sequence of events, all support Mr. Porter's version of events. Jennifer stood. Your Honor, you don't understand. David is dangerous. He's been stalking me. The phone records don't tell the whole story. Then enlighten me. What story do they tell? He's been following me, watching my apartment. I see him everywhere. I'm terrified. Morrison stood. Your Honor, may I? He pulled out his laptop, set it on the defense table, opened a file. This is surveillance footage from the hotel where Mr. Porter has been staying since Saturday evening. Time-stamped security video showing him entering and exiting the hotel at various times. No visits to Ms. Hastings' apartment. No time unaccounted for. He's been exactly where he claims to be. He played the footage. The judge watched. Then Morrison pulled out his phone. And this is the recording of Mr. Porter's conversation with Tyler Grant on Sunday. The conversation Ms. Hastings claims included threats of violence. He played it. Tyler's voice, my voice, the entire conversation. Calm. No threats. Just questions and answers. When it finished, the judge sat back. Ms. Hastings, do you have any evidence to support your claims? Any witnesses to these alleged stalking incidents? Any documentation of threats? Jennifer looked at her attorney. Her attorney looked at her notes. We have my client's testimony, and the testimony of friends who've observed Mr. Porter's controlling behavior over the past several months. Controlling behavior such as monitoring her phone, not allowing her to go out alone, isolating her from friends and family. Morrison stood. Your Honor, Ms. Hastings has been seeing a therapist who allegedly documented this controlling behavior. We'd like to subpoena those therapy records to determine if her claims are consistent with contemporaneous evidence or if they were fabricated after the fact. Jennifer's attorney objected. Those records are privileged. We won't waive that privilege. Then we request the court appoint an independent expert to review the records in camera and report back on their credibility. Judge Reeves nodded. I'll take that under advisement. But for now, based on the evidence presented, I'm denying the petition for a temporary restraining order." Jennifer stood up. "What? You can't do that. He's dangerous." "Ms. Hastings, the evidence shows you engaged in fraudulent behavior, not Mr. Porter. The evidence shows you initiated contact, not him. The evidence shows he's been acting reasonably and legally throughout this situation. I see no basis for a restraining order. But my ruling stands. This petition is denied. However, I'm issuing a mutual no-contact order. Neither party is to contact the other except through legal counsel until the annulment proceedings are resolved. Is that clear?" We both nodded. "Good. Court adjourned." The judge stood, left the courtroom. I watched Jennifer, watched her perfect composure crack, watched her turn to her attorney, voice rising. "You said this would work. You said the court would believe me." "Ms. Hastings, please keep your voice down. I want a different judge. I want to appeal." "You can't appeal a denied restraining order. There's no legal basis." "Then what do I do?" Her attorney gathered her papers. "You prepare for the annulment hearing, and you stop underestimating Mr. Porter's legal team." She left. Jennifer stood alone at the petitioner's table, looked at me. I looked back, didn't smile, didn't gloat. Just met her eyes and let her see that I knew exactly what she'd tried to do. She broke first, turned away, walked out of the courtroom with her shoulders shaking. Morrison touched my arm. "That went better than expected. What happens now?" "Now we prepare for the annulment hearing. 2 weeks. We'll subpoena Tyler, the bridesmaids, anyone who knew about the first marriage. We'll build a case that proves fraud, recover your joint account funds, and make sure Jennifer can't do this to anyone else. And if she tries something else, files another petition, makes more accusations, she won't. Not after today. She knows we have evidence. She knows we'll fight, and more importantly, she knows the court is skeptical of her claims now." We walked out of the courthouse. The sun was bright, too bright for how I felt. "Morrison, I need to know something." "What? Is it always like this? Do women really weaponize the legal system this way?" "Some do, not most. But the ones who do cause incredible damage. Jennifer's not the first client I've defended against false allegations. She won't be the last." "How do men survive it?" "The ones with good lawyers survive. The ones with evidence survive. The ones who stay calm and don't react emotionally, they survive. You did everything right, David. You documented. You stayed composed. You used legal channels. That's why you won today." "I didn't win anything. I just didn't lose. In cases like this, not losing is winning." He was right. I knew he was right. But it didn't feel like victory. Over the next 2 weeks, I rebuilt my life piece by piece, found a new apartment, small, 1 bedroom, but mine, moved out all my things from the place I'd shared with Jennifer. She wasn't there. Came and went while she was at work, got everything in 3 trips, changed my phone number, updated my address, closed the joint bank account and opened a new one in just my name. Morrison filed motions, subpoenas, discovery requests. Tyler was served. Rachel was served. Kayla was served. Jennifer's therapist was served. All ordered to appear at the annulment hearing, all required to testify under oath. Jennifer fought back. Her attorney filed objections, motions to quash, attempts to delay, but Judge Reeves wasn't having it. "This case moves forward," she ruled. "Discovery will proceed as requested." The therapist fought the hardest, claimed privilege, claimed patient confidentiality. Morrison argued back. "The privilege belongs to the patient, Your Honor. If Ms. Hastings wants to use the therapy notes as evidence of Mr. Porter's alleged behavior, she needs to waive privilege. She can't have it both ways." Judge Reeves agreed. "Ms. Hastings, do you wish to waive privilege and allow the therapy notes into evidence?" Jennifer's attorney conferred with her. Long, whispered conversation. Finally, "No, Your Honor, we won't waive privilege." "Then the notes can't be referenced in this proceeding. Any mention of therapy sessions or alleged controlling behavior documented therein is stricken from the record." Jennifer's entire narrative, the 3 months of building her case, wiped out in one ruling. I watched her face when the judge made that decision, watched the careful mask slip again, watched her realize she was losing control. Depositions began. Tyler went first, sat in Morrison's conference room, court reporter typing every word, and told the truth. "Yes, I had a relationship with Jennifer while she was engaged to David." "When did it start?" "About a year ago. Company retreat." "Did you know she was engaged when the relationship began?" "Yes." "Did you and Jennifer discuss ending her engagement to Mr. Porter?" "She said she would, after the wedding." "After a fraudulent wedding ceremony?" "I didn't think of it as fraudulent. I thought she was trying to let him down gently." By marrying him in a ceremony she knew was legally invalid? I see now how it sounds. But at the time, Jennifer made it seem kind, like she was giving him closure. Mr. Grant, did you marry Jennifer on Wednesday, 3 days before her ceremony with Mr. Porter? Yes. Why? She insisted. Said she couldn't marry David while she loved me, said it was the right thing to do, and then she married David anyway. She said it was just a ceremony, not legal. She said it didn't count. But Mr. Porter didn't know that. No. So from his perspective, he was marrying his fiancée, taking vows, committing his life to her. Yes. And all of that was based on lies. Tyler looked down. Yes. Morrison slid a document across the table. This is the joint bank account Mr. Porter shared with Ms. Hastings. Do you see these withdrawals? Tyler looked, nodded. Jennifer used those funds to pay for your wedding, didn't she? I don't know. She handled the finances. You didn't think to ask where the money came from. I trusted her. Even though she was lying to Mr. Porter? That was different. How? Tyler didn't answer. No further questions. Rachel's deposition was next. She was nervous, kept adjusting her hair, fidgeting with her jewelry. Ms. Morrison, did you sign the marriage certificate for Tyler Grant and Jennifer Hastings on Wednesday afternoon? Yes. Did you know Jennifer was engaged to Mr. Porter at that time? Yes. Did you attend Mr. Porter's wedding ceremony on Saturday? Yes. Knowing it was legally invalid? I thought Jennifer had told him. I thought he knew. Really? Because you were at the wedding. You saw him standing at the altar. You saw him say his vows. Did he seem like someone who knew the ceremony was fake? Rachel hesitated. No. He seemed genuinely happy, didn't he? Genuinely committed? Yes. So either you believed Jennifer had told him and Mr. Porter was the world's best actor, or you knew she was deceiving him. I don't know what I thought. Yes, you do. You knew Jennifer was lying to him. You knew that wedding was a fraud, and you said nothing. I'm not on trial here. No, but your credibility is. And right now, you look like someone who helped commit fraud and is trying to minimize your involvement. Rachel's attorney objected. Morrison moved on. Did Jennifer ever express fear of Mr. Porter to you? She said he was controlling. When did she say that? Over the past few months. Before or after she decided to marry Tyler? I don't remember exactly. Try to remember. Did she mention controlling behavior before she got involved with Tyler, or only after? Silence. Only after. So her complaints about Mr. Porter emerged after she started an affair with his best friend. I wouldn't characterize it that way. How would you characterize it? She was unhappy. She found someone who made her happy. She tried to handle it the best way she could. By lying to everyone involved, she was trying to protect people's feelings. By stealing Mr. Porter's money? By humiliating him in front of 200 guests? By filing a false restraining order? I don't know anything about the restraining order. But you know about the rest. You know Jennifer planned all of this, that she manipulated the situation to make herself look like the victim. Objection. Argumentative. Withdrawn. No further questions. Kayla's deposition was different. She came prepared, brought her own lawyer, clearly didn't want to be there. Ms. Thompson, you called Mr. Porter after the wedding to warn him about Ms. Hastings' plans. Is that correct? Yes? Why? Because what Jennifer was doing was wrong. I saw how it destroyed her last boyfriend. I didn't want to see it happen again. She did this before? Not exactly the same, but similar pattern. Make someone fall for her, build them up, then tear them down publicly. Why does she do it? I don't know. Control? Power? She likes being the center of attention, likes having people fight over her. Did you tell Mr. Porter about Jennifer's asset protection plans? Yes. She was meeting with lawyers about how to protect her money and Tyler's money from any legal action David might take. When was this? Before the wedding. She was planning ahead, making sure even if David found out the truth, he couldn't touch her financially. That shows premeditation. Everything Jennifer does shows premeditation. She doesn't do anything by accident. Morrison smiled. No further questions. The depositions were transcribed, filed with the court, became part of the record. And slowly, piece by piece, the truth emerged. Jennifer hadn't married Tyler because she loved him. She'd married him to hurt me. The whole thing was a performance. An elaborate game designed to destroy me emotionally, financially, socially. She'd built the narrative, planted the evidence, manipulated everyone around her, and she'd almost succeeded, but almost wasn't enough. The annulment hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks after the depositions. Morrison prepared our case, organized the evidence, prepared our witnesses. We're going to prove fraud, he said. Clear, deliberate, premeditated fraud. The court will grant the annulment, order restitution for the joint account funds, and Jennifer will be lucky if she doesn't face criminal charges. Criminal charges for what? Theft by deception, fraud, possibly perjury if she lied in her restraining order petition. The DA's office has been reviewing the case. They're interested. I don't want her prosecuted. I just want this over. That's not your decision. If the state has evidence of criminal behavior, they can prosecute regardless of your wishes. I thought about Jennifer in handcuffs. Jennifer in court. Jennifer in prison. Part of me wanted it. Wanted her to suffer like she'd made me suffer. But another part, the part that still remembered falling in love with her in that coffee shop 3 years ago, felt sick at the thought. Morrison, what are the chances she actually faces charges? Honestly? Small. White-collar fraud cases are hard to prosecute. The burden of proof is high. She'd have to have made provably false statements with intent to defraud. The joint account withdrawals might qualify, but a good lawyer could argue she had legitimate access to those funds. So she gets away with it? Legally, maybe, but socially, professionally? The depositions are public record. Anyone can read them. Anyone can see what she did. That follows a person. He was right, but it didn't feel like justice. 2 days before the hearing, I got a call from an unknown number. David, it's Diane. Hey, how are you? I'm good. I heard about the restraining order hearing. Congratulations. Thanks to you. The USB drive, the attorney recommendation, all of it. I'm just glad I could help. But David, I'm calling because I need to warn you about something. What? Jennifer's desperate. I've seen this before. When women like her start losing control, they escalate. Do something dramatic to regain attention. Like what? I don't know, but be careful. Watch your back. And whatever you do, don't let her isolate you somewhere alone. I won't. I mean it. She's dangerous when she's cornered. The line went dead. I sat in my new apartment, looking at the bare walls, and wondered what Jennifer would do next. The answer came at 2 a.m. the night before the hearing. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. David? A man's voice, vaguely familiar. Who is this? It's Kevin. Kevin Brennan, Jennifer's ex, the one before you. I sat up, fully awake now. How did you get my number? From Kayla. She thought I should talk to you. Thought you should know what Jennifer's really doing. I know what she's doing. She married my best friend while engaged to me. That's not what I mean. David, Jennifer doesn't just destroy people. She collects them. What? The pattern. She did the same thing to me, got engaged, made me fall completely in love, then revealed she'd been seeing someone else the whole time, humiliated me publicly, made everyone think I was controlling and paranoid. Kayla mentioned you, said Jennifer did this before. Yeah, but she didn't tell you why. Did she? No. Because it's bigger than revenge. Jennifer's building something, a portfolio. A portfolio of what? Victims, men she's destroyed. She documents everything, takes photos, saves texts, records conversations, creates this whole narrative about how terrible we are, how she escaped, how she survived. Why would she do that? I think she's writing a book, or planning to. She mentioned it once when we were together. Said she wanted to write about her experiences with toxic men. I thought she was joking. But after what she did to me, after I saw how methodically she documented everything, I realized she was serious. My stomach turned. You think she destroyed our relationships to create content? I think she planned everything from the start. Met you, got you to fall for her, then orchestrated the perfect betrayal, maximum drama, maximum pain, all documented for her future book about surviving abusive relationships. But I wasn't abusive. Neither was I, but that doesn't matter. She rewrites the narrative. By the time her book comes out, you'll be the villain and she'll be the survivor. And no one will question it because she has all this evidence, the therapy notes, the police reports, the court documents. I thought about the restraining order, the harassment claims, the controlling behavior allegations, all documented, all on record, all available for anyone who wanted to research Jennifer's story. Kevin, if this is true, if she's planning to use all of this publicly, what do I do? You make sure the truth gets out first. You make sure people know what really happened before she can spin it. Because once her book comes out, once she's on talk shows telling her version, you'll never overcome that narrative. How do I do that? Publish your evidence, the marriage certificate, the depositions, the phone records, everything. Make it public before she can. I can't do that. Some of that's privileged. Court documents. Court documents are public record. Anyone can access them. You're just making it easier for people to find. And the rest? Your story, your truth. Write it down. Every detail, every lie, every piece of evidence. Put it somewhere people can find it. A blog, a website, somewhere permanent. That feels like revenge. It is revenge, but it's also protection. Because if you don't control your narrative, Jennifer will control it for you. We talked for another hour. Kevin told me about his experience, the engagement, the betrayal, the aftermath. It matched my story almost exactly. Different details, same pattern. Jennifer had done this before, successfully. Kevin had been destroyed. Lost his job because Jennifer's allegations made it to his employer. Lost his friends because no one believed his side. Eventually moved to another state to start over. Don't let her do that to you, he said. Fight back, publicly, legally, whatever it takes. After he hung up, I sat in the dark thinking about what he'd said. A portfolio of victims, a future book, years of planning. Was it true, or was Kevin paranoid? I opened my laptop, searched for Jennifer's social media, her blog, found posts dating back 5 years, before she'd met me, before Kevin, dozens of posts about toxic relationships, red flags, how to spot abusers, how to escape, written like someone with experience, like someone who'd survived. I scrolled further back, found a post from 6 years ago. Starting a new project, documenting my journey through relationships and recovery. This will be important work, stories that need to be told. 6 years ago, before Kevin, before me, before Tyler. She'd been planning this for 6 years. I clicked on her Instagram, thousands of followers, posts about empowerment, survival, overcoming, every post carefully curated, every caption perfectly written, and buried in the comments mentions of a book coming soon, a memoir about surviving multiple abusive relationships. My hands shook as I typed Jennifer's name plus book deal into Google. 3 results. The first was a literary agent's website. Client list, Jennifer Lynn Hastings. Working on a powerful memoir about surviving serial emotional abuse. Coming 2027. Next year, Jennifer had a book deal, an actual contract with a publisher. I clicked through to the publisher's website, found the announcement. We're thrilled to announce our acquisition of Jennifer Hastings' memoir, Survived: A Woman's Journey Through 3 Abusive Relationships. Publication planned for fall 2027. 3 relationships. Kevin, me, and presumably whoever came after Tyler. I was going to be a chapter in her book, a case study in toxic masculinity, a villain in her hero's journey, unless I stopped it. I called Morrison. It was 3 a.m. He answered on the first ring. David, what's wrong? Jennifer has a book deal. She's writing a memoir about her abusive relationships. I'm going to be in it. Silence. Then, send me everything you just found, every link, every screenshot. We need to amend our complaint. To what? Defamation? Fraud? Intentional infliction of emotional distress? If we can prove she fabricated these relationships to create content, that's actionable. Can we stop the book? We can try. First thing tomorrow, I'm filing for an injunction. If the book contains false statements about you, we can prevent publication. But David, we need to act fast. If that manuscript is nearly finished, the publisher might push up the timeline. I sent him everything, the agent's website, the publisher's announcement, Jennifer's blog posts, Kevin's testimony. Morrison reviewed it all, called me back at 4 a.m. This changes everything. The annulment hearing tomorrow isn't just about ending a fraudulent marriage. It's about stopping Jennifer from profiting off destroying you. How do we prove she fabricated everything? The depositions prove she lied about the controlling behavior. The phone records prove she lied about the harassment. The marriage certificate proves she lied about her commitment to you. We stack all of it together and show a pattern of deliberate deception for financial gain. Will that stop the book? It might. But David, even if it doesn't, even if she publishes, you'll have legal recourse. You can sue for defamation, you can force corrections, you can make sure your side of the story gets told. I don't want to spend years in court fighting her. I know, that's why we fight hard tomorrow. We end this before it can escalate further. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Just sat at my kitchen table, drinking coffee, reading through Jennifer's blog posts. Every post another piece of her long game, every story another brick in the foundation of her memoir. She'd been building this for years, carefully, methodically, and I'd walked right into it. At 7 a.m., I showered, put on a suit, drove to the courthouse. Morrison met me outside, handed me a folder. This is our amended complaint, filed an hour ago. Judge Reeves's clerk confirmed she received it and will consider our motion for injunction today. What are our chances? Good. Better than good. We have clear evidence of fraud with financial motive. That's exactly what courts look for in defamation cases. We walked into the courtroom. Jennifer was already there. So was her attorney. And someone else. A woman I didn't recognize. Mid-40s, expensive clothes, confident posture. "Who's that?" I asked Morrison. He looked, frowned. "That's Melissa Torres, literary agent. Must be Jennifer's agent." "Why would she be here?" "Because Jennifer's going to try to use today's hearing as material. She's documenting everything." The judge entered. We stood. Judge Reeves looked at both sides, then at the amended complaint in her hand. "Mr. Morrison, I've reviewed your emergency motion for injunction. This is a serious allegation." "Yes, Your Honor. We believe Ms. Hastings has engaged in a long-term scheme to fabricate abusive relationships for the purpose of writing a memoir. Our evidence shows a pattern of deception dating back multiple years." Jennifer's attorney stood. "Your Honor, this is a desperate attempt to smear my client's reputation. Ms. Hastings has every right to write about her experiences. The First Amendment protects that." "The First Amendment doesn't protect deliberate falsehoods," Morrison shot back. "If Ms. Hastings is fabricating stories about Mr. Porter being abusive, that's defamation, and we have evidence to prove it." Judge Reeves looked at Jennifer. "Ms. Hastings, do you have a book deal?" Jennifer stood. For the first time, she looked uncertain. "Yes, Your Honor, but I'm writing about my genuine experiences. My truth." "Your truth? The truth that Mr. Porter was controlling and abusive?" "Yes." "Despite evidence showing you were the one who committed fraud? You were the one who married someone else while engaged to him? You were the one who filed a false restraining order?" "Those are allegations, not proven facts. They're proven by the depositions, by the phone records, by the marriage certificate. Ms. Hastings, I'm looking at a pattern here. A pattern of you creating narratives that benefit you regardless of factual accuracy." "Your Honor, I have a right to tell my story." "You have a right to tell the truth. You don't have a right to publish false statements that damage someone's reputation." Judge Reeves looked at Morrison. "I'm granting a temporary injunction. Ms. Hastings, you and your publisher are prohibited from publishing any content about Mr. Porter until this matter is resolved. We'll schedule a full hearing on the defamation claim for next month." Jennifer's agent stood up. "Your Honor, with respect, you can't stop a book from being published based on unproven allegations." "Watch me. This is a temporary measure. If Ms. Hastings can prove at the hearing that her statements about Mr. Porter are true, the injunction will be lifted. But until then, I'm not allowing her to profit from potential defamation." The agent sat down, looked angry. Jennifer looked worse. The careful mask completely gone now. Just rage. "This is censorship," she said. "You're violating my rights." "I'm protecting Mr. Porter's rights. Sit down, Ms. Hastings." Jennifer didn't sit. Looked at her attorney. "Do something." "Ms. Hastings, sit down." She sat, jaw clenched, hands gripping the table edge. Judge Reeves continued. "Now let's address the primary matter, the petition for annulment. Mr. Morrison, present your case." Morrison stood, walked through everything. The marriage certificate, the timeline, the depositions, the joint account withdrawals, the security footage from the wedding showing Jennifer's premeditated exit, every piece of evidence methodically presented, every lie exposed. Jennifer's attorney tried to object, tried to argue, but there was no defense. The facts were clear. Jennifer had committed fraud, deliberately, for years. When Morrison finished, Judge Reeves didn't even ask for Jennifer's response. "I've heard enough. The marriage between Mr. Porter and Ms. Hastings is annulled on grounds of fraud. Ms. Hastings is ordered to return all funds withdrawn from the joint account, totaling $18,300, within 30 days. Mr. Porter's name will be removed from all joint obligations. This marriage is declared void ab initio." Void from the beginning, like it never happened. Jennifer stood up. "Your Honor, this isn't fair. David knew what he was getting into. He knew I wasn't happy. He should have let me go." "Ms. Hastings, you committed bigamy. You stole money. You filed false police reports. None of that is Mr. Porter's fault. This marriage is annulled. My ruling stands." Judge Reeves banged her gavel. Court adjourned. She left. I sat there breathing hard, trying to process what had just happened. Morrison touched my shoulder. You won. It's over. But it wasn't over. Jennifer stood at her table, staring at me with an expression I'd never seen before. Pure hatred. You ruined everything, she said quietly. I ruined nothing. You did this to yourself. That book was my future, my chance to help people, to tell stories that matter. By lying about me? By making me the villain? You are the villain. You just don't see it. Men like you think you're entitled to women like me, think we owe you something. I was trying to expose that. By fabricating evidence, by destroying real people to create fake stories. They're not fake. They're emotional truth. Emotional truth? Jennifer, you married my best friend 3 days before our wedding. You stole my money. You tried to have me arrested on false charges. That's not emotional anything. That's fraud. Her agent approached, put a hand on Jennifer's arm. Come on. We need to talk to the publisher, see if we can salvage this. They left. Jennifer looking back once. That expression of hatred still there. Tyler appeared from the back of the courtroom. I hadn't even known he was there. He walked up, stopped a few feet away. David, I'm sorry. For all of it. Are you still with her? I don't know. After today, after hearing everything, I don't know what was real. None of it was real. She was using you the same way she used me. You're probably chapter 2 of her book. Tyler's face went pale. What? Morrison handed him a printout. The publisher's announcement about Jennifer's memoir. Tyler read it, hands shaking. She was writing about us? The whole time? 6 years of planning, Tyler. You and me, we were just characters in her story. Tyler sat down on a bench, put his head in his hands. I thought she loved me. I gave up everything for her. My friendship with you, my reputation, everything. Yeah, me too. We sat in silence for a minute. Then Tyler looked up. What do we do now? I'm moving on. Rebuilding? You should too. Can we ever be friends again? I thought about it. About 15 years of friendship. About trust and betrayal and everything in between. I don't know. Maybe someday, but not today. I left him there. Walked out of the courthouse with Morrison. The sun was bright. A perfect day. Morrison shook my hand. Congratulations, David. You won. Doesn't feel like winning. Give it time. Once the adrenaline fades, once you've processed everything, you'll realize you survived something most people don't. You came out the other side intact. What happens with the book? The injunction stands until the defamation hearing. If Jennifer's smart, she'll drop the whole project. If she's not, we'll go to trial and bury her. And the money? She has 30 days to return it. If she doesn't, we file for garnishment. One way or another, you'll get it back. I nodded, thanked him, started walking to my car. My phone buzzed. Unknown number again. Kevin. David, I just heard. You won. How did you hear already? Court records are public. I've been monitoring the case. I wanted to congratulate you. Thanks. Listen, I know this is a lot, but you did something I couldn't do. You fought back and won. You stopped her from destroying someone else. She still has the book deal. She could still publish. Not about you, and if she tries to write about me, I've got my own lawyer now. We'll stop her together. Kevin, why did it take you so long to fight back? Because I was ashamed. Because I believed her narrative. Because I thought maybe I was the problem. It took me years to realize she'd manipulated everything. I almost believed it too. But you didn't. That's the difference. You saw through her before she could finish destroying you. We talked for a few more minutes. Made plans to meet sometime, compare notes, maybe help other men who'd been through similar situations. When I hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. 3 days after the hearing, Jennifer's publisher released a statement. After careful consideration and recent legal developments, we've decided not to proceed with publication of Survived: A Woman's Journey Through 3 Abusive Relationships. We remain committed to publishing important stories, but we must ensure factual accuracy in all our nonfiction titles. The book was canceled. Jennifer's agent dropped her 2 days later. Her social media posts about the memoir disappeared, deleted, like they'd never existed. But the internet remembers everything. Screenshots circulated, Reddit threads, Twitter discussions. Aspiring author accused of fabricating abuse stories for book deal. Woman caught in elaborate fraud scheme to create memoir content. Within a week, Jennifer's story had spread. Her name became synonymous with false allegations, with manipulation, The kind of publicity that destroys careers before they start. I didn't participate in any of it, didn't post, didn't comment, just watched as the truth spread without my help. 2 weeks after the hearing, Jennifer sent the money. All $18,000 transferred to my new account. No note, no apology, just the money. I deposited it. Didn't feel victorious, just tired. Tyler called me a few days later. I left her, moved out, filed for divorce. Divorce? Yeah. Turns out our marriage was legit, but I can't stay with someone who was using me the whole time, who sees people as characters instead of humans. I'm sorry. Don't be. You tried to warn me. I didn't listen. Tyler, for what it's worth, I believe she manipulated you too. Maybe, but I still made choices. I still betrayed you. That's on me. Yeah, it is. Can I ask you something? What? If I'd come to you earlier, if I'd told you the truth before the wedding, would you have forgiven me? I thought about it. Honest consideration. I don't know. Probably not. But it would have been better than what actually happened. I know. I'm sorry, David, for everything. I know you are. We hung up. Didn't make plans to talk again. Some friendships don't survive betrayal, even when both people want them to. A month after the hearing, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Just my name and new address. Inside was a thumb drive and a note. David, this is every recording I made while working for Jennifer, every conversation, every planning session, every time she talked about her book. I can't sit with this anymore. It needs to see light. Do with it what you think is right. The photographer. I plugged in the drive. Hundreds of audio files, hours of recordings, Jennifer talking to her agent. The third guy, David, he's perfect, stable, trusting. It'll make the betrayal hit harder. Readers love that. Jennifer talking to Tyler. Just play along for a few more weeks. After the wedding drama, we can be together publicly. It'll be romantic. Star-crossed lovers. Jennifer talking to her therapist. Wait, she'd recorded her therapy sessions? I listened to one. He doesn't hit me or anything, but the control is subtle, insidious. He makes me feel like I can't have my own life. The therapist's voice, concerned. That's emotional abuse. You need to protect yourself. Jennifer knew what to say, how to guide the conversation, how to build the narrative she needed. Every session carefully performed. I listened to more files, found the planning sessions. Jennifer and her bridesmaids, months before the wedding, plotting everything. The venue on Saturday, then the real wedding Sunday. Maximum drama. Everyone will talk about it. What if David finds out early? He won't. He's too trusting. And even if he does, I have the therapy notes. I can claim he's unstable. It's perfect. Months of planning. Every detail choreographed. I sat with the recordings for 3 days. Listened to all of them. Heard myself discussed like a character. Like something to be manipulated and discarded. Heard Tyler realize he was being used too, but choosing to go along with it anyway. Heard Jennifer laugh about how easy it was to fool everyone. On the 4th day, I made a decision. I created a website. Simple, clean, anonymous hosting. The truth about Jennifer Hastings? I uploaded everything. The marriage certificate, the court documents from the annulment, the depositions, the recordings, every piece of evidence that proved what she'd done. Added a timeline, a clear explanation of events, no emotion, just facts. Posted it. Didn't promote it, didn't share it, just let it exist. Within 24 hours, it had gone viral. Reddit found it, Twitter found it, TikTok found it. This woman tried to write a book about surviving abuse, but actually created the abuse. The recordings are insane. She planned everything. How many men did she destroy before someone stopped her? Jennifer's social media accounts went private, then disappeared entirely. Tyler called me. Did you post that website? Yes. The recordings, where did you get them? Someone sent them to me, someone who couldn't live with what they'd helped her do. David, this is nuclear. Jennifer's getting death threats. Her family is being harassed. This has gone too far. Has it? She was going to publish a book calling me abusive, calling you abusive, calling Kevin abusive. She was going to profit off ruining our lives. This is just the truth. Truth can be a weapon too. Yeah, it can. But unlike her, I'm not lying. Tyler hung up. I waited for guilt to come, for regret. It didn't. What came instead was peace. The next week, the DA's office called. Mr. Porter, we've reviewed the evidence you posted. We'd like to pursue charges against Ms. Hastings for fraud and perjury. What would that involve? Your testimony. the recordings as evidence, witness statements. If convicted, she could face up to 3 years. 3 years in prison for lies and manipulation and stolen money. I need to think about it. Take your time. But Mr. Porter, what she did was criminal. She should face consequences. I thought about it for 2 days. Imagine Jennifer in court, in prison, her life destroyed the way she'd tried to destroy mine. It would be justice. Legal. Deserved. But it would also make me like her. Someone who weaponized the legal system for revenge. I called the DA back. I won't testify. I'm done. She lost her book deal, lost her reputation, lost everything she was building. That's enough. Mr. Porter, she committed crimes. I know. But I'm not going to be the one who sends her to prison. I just want to move on. Are you sure? Yes. The DA respected my decision, closed the investigation. Jennifer never faced criminal charges, but she faced something worse. Public judgment, permanent digital record, the knowledge that everyone knew what she'd done. 2 months after I posted the website, I got an email from Diane. David, I'm so proud of you. You fought back smart, you won, and you showed mercy at the end. That takes real strength, I wrote back. Thank you for everything, for the warning, for the support, for believing me when no one else did. I believed you because I recognized the pattern. I'm just glad you escaped before she could finish destroying you. How's your life now, after your ex? Good, really good. I rebuilt, found peace. You will too. She was right. Slowly, week by week, I rebuilt my life. New apartment became home. New job with a different company, away from Tyler, new friends who didn't know my history. I dated eventually, told potential partners the truth early, showed them the website if they asked. Most were horrified, some were skeptical. A few ghosted me immediately. But one woman, Sarah, a lawyer who dealt with her own share of manipulative people, understood completely. You handled it perfectly, she said after reading everything. Legally, ethically, you didn't become the monster she tried to make you. I thought about it, thought about destroying her completely. But you didn't. That's the difference between you and her. 6 months after the hearing, I got one final message from Jennifer, an email from an address I didn't recognize. David, I know you won't believe this, but I'm sorry. Not for what I did. I still think I was trying to tell important stories, but for how I did it, for not seeing you as a person, for making you collateral damage in my ambition. I hope someday you can forgive me. I read it 3 times, looked for sincerity, found only self-justification. She still thought she was right, still saw herself as the hero. Just regretted getting caught. I deleted the email, blocked the address, never responded, because Jennifer didn't deserve my forgiveness, didn't deserve my time, didn't deserve any more space in my head. She'd had 3 years of my life, had my trust, my love, my future. She'd turned all of it into ammunition, but she'd lost. I'd survived. Rebuilt, moved on. And that, more than any legal victory, more than any public humiliation, was the real revenge. Living well, living honestly, living free of her manipulation. A year after the wedding that wasn't, I stood in my new apartment, looking out at the city. Different view, different life, different person. The old me would have trusted blindly, would have missed the signs, would have let someone destroy him without fighting back. The new me knew better. Knew that trust had to be earned, that love required honesty, that sometimes the person who seems perfect is perfectly constructed to destroy you. I'd learned those lessons the hard way, but I'd learned them. My phone buzzed. Sarah. Dinner tonight? There's a new place I want to try. Sounds good. 7. Perfect. Love you. Love you too. I set the phone down. Smiled. Jennifer had tried to write a story where I was the villain. Instead, I'd written my own story. Where I was the survivor, where I fought back, won, moved on, where I learned that the best revenge isn't destruction, it's building something better from the ashes. I looked at my reflection in the window, at the man I'd become, stronger, wiser, careful but not closed. Jennifer had meant to break me. Instead, she'd forged me, and I'd make damn sure she knew it. 3 years later, I got a wedding invitation. Tyler and Melissa, getting married. He'd found someone new. Someone honest, someone who saw him as a person, not a character. The invitation included a handwritten note. David, I know this is awkward, but you were my best friend for 15 years. I'd like you to be there, to see that I learned from my mistakes, to know that I'm different now. I understand if you can't, but the invitation stands. I looked at it for a long time. Thought about attending, about closure, about forgiveness. Then I put the invitation in a drawer and forgot about it. Some bridges once burned should stay burned. Not out of cruelty, out of wisdom, because moving forward sometimes means leaving people behind, even people you once loved. I focused on my own life, my own future, proposed to Sarah 2 months later. She said yes. We planned a wedding, small, intimate, just 50 people who actually mattered. No elaborate ceremony, no dramatic gestures, no games, just 2 people who'd survived betrayal, learning to trust again. The wedding day was perfect, simple, real. Everything mine with Jennifer wasn't. As I stood at the altar, watching Sarah walk toward me, I felt nothing but peace. No ghosts, no doubts, no fear. Just love. Honest, earned, true. The officiant asked if anyone objected. Silence. Sarah and I exchanged vows. Rings, kissed, our guests cheered. And in that moment, standing with someone who chose me every day, who'd seen my worst and stayed, who knew my history and loved me anyway, I realized something. Jennifer hadn't destroyed me. She'd revealed what I was capable of surviving, and that made all the difference. Later, at the reception, I stood with Sarah's hand in mine, looking at our friends and family celebrating. Someone asked about my first wedding, about what had happened. I smiled. It taught me what I didn't want, and helped me recognize what I did. They nodded, moved on to other topics. Because Jennifer's story wasn't my story anymore. It was just a chapter. One I'd closed. The book I was writing now was different. Better. Mine. As the night ended, as Sarah and I drove to the hotel, she looked over at me. Happy? Completely. No regrets? Only that I didn't meet you sooner. She laughed, squeezed my hand. We drove into our future, away from the past, away from the pain, away from everything Jennifer had tried to make me. I'd won, not by destroying her, not by revenge, by surviving, by rebuilding, by refusing to let her define my story. That was the real victory. And as I looked at Sarah, at this woman who'd chosen to build a life with me despite knowing everything I'd been through, I knew something with absolute certainty. Jennifer had tried to write a tragedy. I'd turned it into a triumph, and that was the best revenge of all. The last time I thought about Jennifer was 5 years after the wedding that wasn't. I saw her by chance in a coffee shop downtown. She was alone, reading a book, looking older, tired. She glanced up, saw me. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she looked away. Back at her book, no smile, no acknowledgement. Nothing? I got my coffee, walked past her table. Felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction, no curiosity about her life. Just indifference. The purest form of moving on. I left the coffee shop. Walked into sunshine. Jennifer shrank in the distance behind me. Smaller, less significant, until she was nothing. Just a stranger I used to know. And I kept walking. Into my life, my future, my happiness. The revenge was complete.